Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor with IRS. Welcome to my YouTube videos, the home of the 5-minute or less video. Today I'm going to talk about, should you manage your IRS debt by yourself or should you hire a professional? I want to tell you what you should do, when you should do it, and what you should consider. Anyway, I worked at IRS for a decade. I've been in private practice for 4 decades. I've been doing this since August 20th, 1973. I'm a national expert in IRS resolution matters. I'm on TV an awful lot. You can see all my national broadcast videos at 777irs.com. But more importantly, you can go ahead and you can see all my team that I work with, and they're really experts in the field. I do these videos for 3 reasons: so you don't get ripped off, so you at least get the truth. I try to give you insider information when I can. I try to be 100% honest with you, so you can either make a decision to hire or do this yourself. So today I want to broach the subject is when you should represent yourself and when you should hire a professional. I don't want this video to be self-serving. I want you to know I'm well established in my practice and I have a lot of work coming in, but I want to help you with the decision that you have and when you would hire somebody like me and do it yourself. Usually big companies are not going to work small cases. A small case is anything up to maybe $30,000, $40,000 because their price points to do the work isn't there. And many times those cases are very simple payment agreements, and they're hardship situations. You're currently non-collectible, in which IRS simply can't, come up. They can't collect the money because you don't have the money to pay. So when you go into currently non-collectible, the debt still runs, penalties and interest still run. So just be prepared. And many people who don't owe a lot of money get put into currently payment agreement, which you can actually go online yourself and get an online payment plan without even calling a professional. So if you can start making payments, don't even call a company, do it yourself. Usually when the debt gets up to 50, 60, 80, 100, I've got cases sitting in my inventory of over $5-6 million. You don't want any business in representing yourself unless you're very thoroughly equipped, and I tell you this honestly, to understand what the IRS system is, because you're going into this system blind, and IRS is a debt collection agency with full power. I want to tell you, if you're going to do this by yourself or make a decision to hire or not, you have to do a couple things. All your tax returns must be filed. When I was a former agent, first 2 questions I'd ask a business or entity is A, are all your returns filed, and are you current? Are your federal deposits up to date? Are your estimate payments up to date? And is your withholding up to date? If not, you are starting out in the wrong track. So before you even call the IRS, make sure all your returns are filed and make sure you're making current deposits in the month we're speaking. So right now I'm doing this in June. You want to make sure you have your estimate payment made, a federal tax deposit, and your withholding is up to date for this month. This way IRS knows they can work on the back problem and they're not chasing you down the road. IRS wants the problem, the line in the sand drawn today, so you know that. The next thing you got to know is how is IRS actually going to look at your financial statement. I have looked at thousands of these. Only 2 things I care about. Don't care about all your debt. I'm only interested in your assets and your income and expenses. That's it. I want to know if you have any liquidity in your assets to sell, including getting another mortgage on your home or home equity line, or I want to know how much you're spending on a monthly basis. IRS cares very much what you're spending, so much so that they've set up standards as to how much you can live on a month. So if you want to know what those are, you can Google IRS National Standards for housing and utilities. You're going to go to a page that has the state. You're going to go to the county, and then you'll populate how many people, and that's going to let you know how much IRS is going to allow you to live on. They're going to go for IRS national standards for food and clothing, IRS national standards for car payments, IRS national standards for driving the car and operation. IRS is going to lock you into those, and if you're over and above their national standard, they're going to have their money out, and that's the big shocker for everyone. So if you have real confidence in the national standard program, you can do this yourself. If you're not sure and you got that pit in your stomach because there's some stuff on there and a couple skeletons, that's when you make the decision to hire someone. If you think you have, like I say, it's like people call me and they'll say, hey, Michael, I'm getting audited. What do I, when do I decide to hire? Because I'm not a person who says, call me every time. I don't need that. But I tell them very simply, you know what your records are. On a 1 to 10, how confident are you of your records? If they tell me they're only confident up to a 5 or a 6, that's when you hire someone. When they tell me they're an 8, 9, I say you don't need anybody. So you've got to be able to say in your stomach, in your pit, I really need help. Because if you try to go, and if you don't have any money, then look up the IRS National Standards program and how that works. I've done a number of videos on there. A lot of people do not have the money and they need to represent themselves. So just be aware of what IRS is going to do with your assets and your national standards. For those of you who have the money, if you're going to hire someone, you have to, they're not going to be us. They have to be an attorney or a CPA or enrolled agent. Those are the only people licensed to talk to IRS on your behalf. If you're talking to somebody else, it's an assistant or a salesman who's never worked a case with IRS in their life because they can't. I hope this information was very good. If you would, give me a subscription because we thrive on subscriptions because YouTube says we need them. So if YouTube says we need them, I need a subscription. Thank you so much. I appreciate you listening.